No, that's me. Hi, people. Okay.
Oh, it was live and it was filming you?
Dude, yeah, it was my mom in there.
They universally prefer you. All right, y'all. How's it going? This clearly is your main man, Frank. Take 2 of how to pitch on social media. Did this for you about an hour or so ago. And I messed up the video thingy, so it was all choppy. It was like a 1999 webcam style video. So if you saw that live that I did like an hour ago, how to pitch on social media, I'm going to tell you the same thing, but hopefully now with better video quality. Little Mrs. and I are on the way to lunch, kind of a late lunch, but a better late lunch than no lunch. So here's the deal. First of all, these videos I've been making for you, like for the past 2 weeks especially, are all about this concept called intent-based branding, which is a method of putting out content that sells. And phase 1 is helpful, useful content that makes an offer. Phase 2 is understanding that each piece of content is an asset for your business. And phase 3 is advertising. So in that phase 1, where you're like making offers all the time, it's really important that you make offers the right way. Speaking of that, making an offer, it's time for me to make one right now. If you're interested in this whole intent-based branding methodology and you've been following along at home and watching all this stuff, and you like to learn from myself and my team on how to use it in your business, type branding in the comments below, and Tyler or Kate from my team will reach out to you, and you can get set up with a phone call with Tyler. He'll tell you how you can possibly deploy it in your business, and then if you like what you hear, you can talk about taking a training from us. Okay, so anyway, end of offer there. All right, so here's the deal. The part of this methodology is you produce content all the time. Produce content being kind of a loosely used word here. You get your phone out and shoot videos or whatever you want to do. And the content always does 3 things: provides value, builds goodwill, and makes an offer. And when I teach it to people, usually what happens is they'll do it, but they'll do it like they were doing a webinar or something. So it's like they'll, 10 minutes of content or whatever, and then at the end they're like, hey, now you should go buy this thing or whatever. And that's not the right way to do it. So the right way to do it is, instead of doing it internet marketing style, you do it HSN style. HSN in this case standing for Home Shopping Network. So if you ever watch Home Shopping Network, which is advisable, especially if you watch them from like 10 years ago, because Natalia was a model on Home Shopping Network. Fun trivia.
Don't do that.
Little fun trivia. You can see her modeling like nail polish and stuff.
Don't you look for it. I will kill you. I will kill you.
Y'all, it was nice knowing all of y'all. I really appreciate your support and interest over the years. Anyway, so HSN, if you ever watch anything on there, the way they pitch on there is like they'll demonstrate the product, they'll give content, everything, and about every 2 minutes or so, they'll make the offer, right? And their offer is like, hey, call if you want to get this thing. Okay, and the internet marketing style of pitching is typically going to be content and then offer at the end. And the offer at the end is kind of hard, and there's like bonus stacks and all of this kind of stuff. So on social, you don't do it. On social, what you do is essentially you want to circle back to your offer several times during the content that you're creating. And the framework I like to use is pretty loose in doing this, but usually start out like, hey, here's what we're going to talk about, and then segue immediately into the offer by saying, hey, if you like this kind of stuff, then in our case, the way I did it was, hey, if you're interested in building a brand or whatever, type branding in the comments below, and Tyler or Kate from my office will reach out, and you can set up an appointment to talk to somebody, and they'll tell you how to do it, and if you like what you hear, you can take some training from us. So that was the offer, right? So right in the very beginning, I always like to try to do that. And then I like to always circle back to it. And the trick here is to like not overthink how to do it smoothly, because it's almost impossible. So a great way to just interject the offer into your content is to be like, oh, you know what? By the way, I've been meaning to tell you, sorry, but before I forget, and then you say insert offer. So if I were to be doing that right now in this particular situation, I might say, oh, you know what? Before I forget, I've been meaning to tell you, if you're just joining us, if you're interested in learning how to do intent-based branding, and if you want my team to help you and you want to learn from us and you want us to show you how to do it and get you trained on it, type branding in the comments below. And when you do, someone will reach out to you by direct message and set up a time for you to speak with Tyler in my office, and he'll tell you all about it. And if you're interested in working with us, that's great. So see, that's how I would interject that offer. So you might be wondering, like, dude, it seems like you're making the offer like every 2 minutes or whatever, and I am. And then the fear becomes, gosh, aren't people going to get mad? And the answer is probably not. Number one, if you're cool about it, they're not going to get mad anyway. But number two, most of the people who watch stuff like this, whether they're watching it like right now as we're doing it live, or they're watching a recorded version of it later or whatever, on social media, unless they're like super engaged and even maybe binge watching, which is like the best possible scenario, but unless they're in that state, they're typically kind of scanning. So you know how you do on social, right? I mean, like, think about how you got here. If you're watching this live right now, it's around 2 o'clock or so on, what's today's date, Darling? The 9th?
I don't know. I'm so shaken up with these roads, I can't even think. I will have a brain damage here.
It's rough living, man. It's the mean streets of Rancho Santa Fe. Stay strong, people. Stay strong.
Struggle's real.
Struggle is real. This roll's got the worst suspension.
Well, I'm also like bent over, like backwards.
That sounding good.
Logan, that's why I'm shaky, Logan.
Don't be hating, Logan.
Nobody's hating.
Anyway, man, think about how y'all got here. Like, you're enjoying your day, you're messing around on Facebook, and if you're watching this live, like, you saw a notification or something, and then bam, next thing you know, here you are. And so that is, first of all, thank you, by the way, but secondly, that's indicative of how fleeting attention is on social media. So you kind of need to put that offer in there regularly, because if you wait till the end, they will miss it. They're not going to see it, because they're like, not going to watch usually, but for a couple minutes at most. So you got to make sure you're constantly making the offer. Now, here's one more little tip I'll give you on how to pitch in social media. Every campaign, which the content part of intent-based branding is all part of a big campaign, right? It's all made up of little individual units, for lack of a better word, and every unit has its job. So in an intent-based branding campaign, you've got the content unit, right, which is like this, right? I'm like talking to you, providing content. And then you have the sales process unit. And everybody's sales process unit is different. Let's say your sales process unit is a webinar. And so if you look at that, how do people get into a webinar? Well, they register for it. So what that means is when you're giving your content and you're trying to make the offer and your objective is to get somebody on the webinar, you're not on the damn content saying, hey, you need to buy the thing that I'm selling on the webinar. You're on the content just going, hey, if you like this stuff, let's say you're selling, what was the example I used earlier, tomato gardening stuff. You're talking about tomato gardening content. You're like, hey, by the way, before I forget, if you're really hardcore about tomato gardening, I've got a tomato gardening secrets class. You can watch it for free. If you go to tomatogardeningsecretsclass.com, and you can register there. It's on the house, and here are the 3 things you're going to learn. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, what were we talking about? That's right, fertilizer. And then boom, you're back to the content. So you always want to understand that in social media, you let the sales process do the selling. You let the social part, which is the content unit, you just let that send people to the sales process. So if you were to go back and watch the stuff where I'm talking about the book, right? And I'm like, hey, if you like this kind of stuff, go to frank+kernbook.com, and I'm selling my book from content. I'm not like saying, hey, you got to go get this book. If you don't get the book, the world's going to end. It's the greatest book in the world. No, it's like, hey, today we're going to talk about dog whistle copy. And by the way, if you're really serious about marketing stuff, go check out the book at frank+kernbook.com. I think you're going to enjoy it. Now, let's talk about that dog whistle copy. See, that little chunk right there, that was making the offer to go into the sales process. In that case, the sales process is a book funnel. So, intent-based branding, like I said, it involves 3 components. High-value content that does 3 things. Number 1, provides value. Number 2, creates goodwill. Number 3, makes an offer. All right? And so that thing, that methodology is very, very, very effective. If you want us to teach you how to do it, give you some ideas on how to do it in your business, show you the frameworks and all that kind of stuff. Type branding in the comments below. And someone from my office, probably Tyler or Kate, they will reach out to you and they'll say, hey man, thanks for dropping by. And then they'll give you a little link to schedule a call with Tyler. He's awesome. Poor man, he has worked with me for 1,000 days and counting. So if there's anybody qualified to tell you how to do this stuff, it's going to be him. He's like kind of shaky now, you know, he's been driven partially insane from having to deal with me so much, but very, very smart and very personable. You'll enjoy your conversation with him. So type branding in the comments below if you'd like to talk to us and you're interested in learning intent-based branding, and we'll tell you how we can potentially help you. All right, so that's how you pitch in social media without being all weird about it, you know, and while maintaining the relationship with the folks you're trying to help. Mm-hmm. Let that be a lesson to you. Mm-hmm. You see anything important that we need to... It's hard to see on my phone, I know.
Well, you can't see because I'm looking at it, so I'm in control right now. Well, pretty much they're liking it.
Oh, you know, I want to know something. How many people does it say are watching this thing?
98 through 110 to 123. Then
that's
it changes
crazy.
to 95.
All right, guys. You know how, like, maybe you don't, because maybe you don't see all this stuff. But a lot of times I'm trying to get the point across of, look, man, you don't need to be, you know, when I tell you to create content a lot, it doesn't mean that every piece of content has to be brand new, fresh, like you're creating a TV show or something. Right now in this very moment is proving it. So however many people were watching this, 123 or something, I was just live on Facebook, whatever, 2 hours ago, maybe not even that long ago, literally saying the exact same thing I'm saying now. The only reason I came on and did it again because the video quality was so bad. I'm like, man, I want to at least...
No, it's much better.
I want to give them... Clearly.
Yeah.
Imagine if the camera was pointed at you. You know, it'd be even better. I was like, I want to give a better job of this and not have crappy video on there. Something was wrong with my computer. But, dude, there's still, like, this many people watching.
That's the point.
So,
it's not going to be perfect. Just do it.
Yeah, A, it's not going to be perfect. And B, I'm not saying, like, say the same thing every 2 hours, but it's not like you have to write a brand new novel every day that you wake up, you know. So hopefully this, hopefully the net effect of our conversation for this afternoon is to demystify this stuff, you know, and make it easier for you and encourage you to, I feel bad about not waving and talking to him, but we're on camera, you know.
Robert is the
Easily the
kindest,
nicest guy in the
friendliest
world.
person in the entire world.
We should do a tour of, like, unbelievably nice people.
We have so many of them.
I know, there's so many
started
nice
with you,
people.
actually. You're so nice.
Me?
Yeah, you're too nice.
Okay, guys, now I'm nervous.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Nothing's going to happen. You were really nice.
I have a feeling there's a couture purchase coming up here if it hasn't been made already. I think Chanel's calling right now. They're like, oh, thank you so much for your giant purchase.
We should. You're the nicest person.
Yep.
Okay, guys.
Okay, take it easy, y'all.